Hello, eighth graders. Today we are going to do some practice in writing equations, particularly writing equations when given 2 points. This means I am no longer giving you M, nor am I giving you B. I'm not giving you any of it, and you have to find it all. So first to start, we are going to do 2 problems together. So you need to get out a piece of paper right now. All right, here's how I set up my piece of paper, and you can pause me if you need a minute to do this. All I did was first write my title here, Writing Equations Practice. That's what this paper is going to be all about. Then I took my paper and folded it once vertically, like that. Mostly I just wanted to kind of give myself 2 columns to show my work and keep things a little bit more neat and organized. And we're going to do 2 examples together. So unfold it. You can trace that line if it's easier for you to see it. I am just going to keep it a fold to differentiate between work over here and work over here. So we're going to do 2 examples together, and we're going to call them 1 and 2. So here is number 1. When you go into and start clicking next and doing some more practice problems, the instructions will be typed and written. There will be an option to click play and just hear an audio of me reading them out loud. But what they'll say is something like this. Write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through these points. And these are the points we're doing on the first one. So we're just going to write down the ordered pairs for this first problem. So this is -4, -15. And the other ordered pair is 2, -3. We need to write an equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through those 2 points. What are the 2 things we need to write an equation? They are, of course, M and B. So the first thing we're going to do is use the slope formula. I might even write it up here on the top of my paper so that I remember. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. I'm using the slope formula to find the slope. Here I go. M equals Y2 minus Y1, and why in the world did I say minus and then just change it to a plus? Because I realized it was minus a negative, so I changed that to a plus, over X2 minus -4, so I changed that one to a plus as well. I'm going to find the slope first. -3 plus 15 is 12 over 2 plus 4 is 6. That means M equals 2. I found the slope. That is always the first step, and that is always a really important step to get correct. Because if you mess up the slope and then you try to take that messed up slope and plug it into the equation, wow, that just messes everything up, doesn't it? So next, we are going to plug this into y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. I know the m part now, so I put the m in there. My next job is to find b. And in order to do that, I'm going to take one of these ordered pairs and I'm going to plug it in. This one looks a little nicer to me, but make sure you plug in y for y. -3 equals 2 times 2 plus b. -3 equals 4 plus b. -4 minus 4, and we just got 4, 5, 6, 7, -7 equals b. And now I am ready to finally finish my equation. I'm going to write it over here just so I don't take up an extra line, but you can write it beneath if you want. I'm going to write, just kidding, I'm going to write it down here. Y equals 2x minus 7. Now, just as a reminder, because there's a lot of work on these problems and it can be really frustrating to do all this work, type an answer in Canvas, and just have it all marked wrong. Let me just quickly remind you. You can also use Desmos if you open up your Desmos calculator. Let's see, I have one open right. So when you're in Desmos, what you can type in is you can type the original ordered pairs you were given. So that was -4, -15. And then the other one was 2, -3. And then some people go, oh, I only see one ordered pair. Well, that's because one went out to 15 and our graph doesn't. So if you hit zoom out a couple times, hey, look, I can see it. The important thing is, here's the equation we just got. We got y equals 2x minus 7. And what better happened here if we did this correctly? our line had better pass through that blue and green dot. Here we go, 2x minus 7. Yay, look at that, it does. So it's always a good idea to have Desmos open, and when you're done with all this work, you found slope, you found b, you wrote an equation, use Desmos real quick and just check that you did it right. Okay, back to one more example that we're gonna do together. So go ahead and write number 2 in the next column over. So here we go. So I have number 1 all done. I'm gonna come over here and write number 2 over here. So the next example we're going to do together is 4 comma negative 2 and negative 4 comma 0. Those are the ordered pairs I'm giving you, and your job is to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So, of course, first I need to find the slope. Here we go. 0 minus negative 2. Another minus a negative that turns into a plus. Watch those closely. Negative 4 minus 4. That did not turn into a plus because I was subtracting a positive. That makes 2 over negative 8, which means the slope is negative 1/4. The slope is negative 1/4. Okay, now I'm ready for the next step. Y equals negative 1/4 x plus b. I'm going to plug in an ordered pair. I'm just going to use this first one. You get to pick, but I'm going to use the first one. Put negative 2 in for y, negative 1/4 times 4 plus b, negative 1/4 times 4, you can use a calculator if you need to, but that's negative 1. And then you go plus 1, b equals negative 1. Now I have my m, I have my b, let's write an equation. Negative 1/4 x minus 1. And if you were typing this in Canvas and writing it, you know, sideways like that, that's where you put the parentheses around the negative 1/4. For today's practice, you don't have to type them into Canvas. You just have to write them on your paper and then check and see if you did it right. But you can also go back into Desmos and type in those ordered pairs and see if it passes through. So what you're going to do now, we've done 2 together. So let's just set this up and get this ready. The next one's going to be number 3. And it kind of breaks it apart. So the first thing it does is it says find the slope. So you write down and find the slope, and then you click next and check your slope first, because if your slope is messed up, you don't want to go any farther than that. Then you finish it and check. So do your work first, then click next to check your answer. We're starting to try and get ready for an assessment on writing equations. So make sure you really try it first, check your answers, and if something doesn't make sense, please ask for help.